Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. So today we are traveling to a beautiful district in Tamil Nadu, southern part of Tamil Nadu, Tirunelveli. So before we take darshan of all these wonderful temples which are highly connected to Sri Vaishnava Acharyas, this holy place belongs to Lord Shiva. Like many other holy places in India, originally all the holy places they belong to Lord Shiva. Then Lord Krishna will come, then sometimes very sweetly grab the place from Lord Shiva, or sometimes Lord Krishna will play some tricks and move Lord Shiva and occupy the place. And that is how the pastimes are. Even Badrinath in Himalayas was originally Lord Shiva's place. And a famous temple, Guruvayur in Kerala, belongs to Lord Shiva. Many holy places, they were Lord Shiva's place. Then Krishna will come, play some trick and grab the place. So this beautiful district, Tirunelveli, belongs to Lord Shiva. And in the middle of the city, there is a gigantic, gorgeous Lord Shiva temple. And the name of this place, Tirunelveli, in Tamil, Tiru is the equivalent of Shri, like Shri Vrindavan Dham, Shri Mayapur. So the equivalent of Tiru is Shri. Sorry, Shri is Tiru in Tamil. So Tirunelveli, Nel means paddy field, paddy, and Veli means compound. So a nice, very sweet pastime happened in this Lord Shiva temple. That's how the whole city got this particular name. It's a fertile place. If you travel length and breadth of this district, you will see paddy fields everywhere. Not only paddy fields, beautiful lotus ponds, huge ponds, ponds like maybe like 2 acres, 3 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres ponds, huge ponds filled with pink lotus flowers. You can see this ponds everywhere in this district. So there was a wonderful devotee, pujari of Lord Shiva in the temple, and they offer every day kheer to the Lord. So they dry the grain, then they smash it, take the rice out of the husk. It's a small process behind that. So one day, very nice pujari, very sweet, very committed to his seva to Lord Shiva, and no complaints, no demands. Very sincerely, he was serving Lord Shiva. So one day, he dried all the paddy under the sun. Then he went a little far away place for some work. So he went there, and all of a sudden there was a severe thunder storm and rain, heavy downpour of rain. And this priest, the pujari, he was somewhere else and he's worried about his grains which are dried, which are left for drying. So from that place, he very ardently prayed, very sincerely prayed to Lord Shiva that all the paddy will go waste, then I won't be able to offer a key for you. Very sincerely he prayed. Then this person came back. When he came back, he saw only in that particular area there is no rain. Rain is everywhere, it's pouring. And the place where he has dried the rice, there alone there was no rain. So Lord Shiva protected that grain, Nilveli, he created a fence for the grain. So the place got the name Tirunelveli, and Lord Shiva got name Nellayappar, means protector of grain. So it's a beautiful village full of paddy field and lotus tanks. So amazing. And many holy places connected to Sri Vaishnavas, Alvars are there. Many places, and each temple has got unique and sweet pastime connected to Alvars and devotees. And many of these temples are connected to Varaha Puran and Brahmanda Puran. All these pastimes are mentioned either in Varaha Purana or in Brahmanda Purana about this holy place. It's a beautiful place. So first, let us go to a temple called Tirupati Saaram. You know, Saram means, you can say, downhill, shadow, reflection. You can say whatever. Tirupati Saaram. You know, this is a very beautiful temple in between the border of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. From Kerala, if you travel towards Tirunelveli, every 40 kilometers you will see all these temples. So the first temple is in a town called Nagarkoil, 40 kilometers from the border of Kerala. Beautiful temple, Tirupati Saaram. So as I told you, the whole place belongs to Lord Shiva. There are many major Lord Shiva temples and Shiva Bhaktas everywhere. So once the Saptarishis, the seven sages, came to this place. Atri, Pulastya, Pulaka, Kritu, Vasishta, Jamadagni, the Saptarishis, the seven prominent sages, you know, they played a very big role in creation. They had a unique role in creation, and they were like establishing the truth. So the seven sages came to this beautiful place, you know, very beautiful village. Even today, the village is so beautiful. We can see so many ponds full of water and lotus ponds and flowers, and there is the Western Ghats, Vindhya Parvata. It's on the side of Vindhya Parvata. Very beautiful, green. So seven sages came and did severe penance here, austerity. You know, austerity is a wealth of a sadhaka, of a spiritual person. There should be some austerity. Somewhere in Puranas, there is a discussion about between Lord Brahma and his son Narada. And both of them are saying in Kali Yuga, people don't observe any kind of austerity. They skip a meal and they think that will be a great austerity for them. You know, austerity of mind, austerity of speech. All these things are very important. We all know that from Gita and many scriptures. So austerity is the wealth of a spiritual person. So the seven sages came and they were performing severe austerity in this town, and Lord Shiva appeared in front of them. And Lord Shiva appeared and asked to the sages, what do you want? What blessings do you seek? What is the purpose behind this severe austerity? Then the seven sages were not about Lord Shiva appearing. Somewhere sages said, my dear Lord Shiva, we are very grateful to you. And they paid their pranams again and again and said, we are meditating on Lord Narayana, the absolute truth. So please grant us blessings so that we will have darshan of Lord Narayana, the Supreme Lord. So Lord Shiva blessed those seven sages, and the sages continued their tapas. And finally, Lord appeared in this place. So this is a beautiful deity of Narayana. and surrounded by 7 sages. So the scriptures, the Mahatmya of this place speaks so much about tapasya, you know, the tapasya of speech, what to speak and what not to speak. There is a beautiful Tamil poem, it's spoken in this place, that what you should speak and what you should not speak. You should speak politely. We should speak calculated, means we shouldn't speak unnecessary things. Shabda jalam, the circus of words, Shabda jalam. And there is a beautiful line in the poem which says, speak without speaking. Speak without making a noise, speak in silence. There are different kinds of, these are all austerities of speech. And in the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, we see silence is also a quality. So we should reduce as much as possible, speaking about all the worldly things. Very beautiful. So after the tapas of the Saptarishis, Narayana appeared, and the deities are in the same form. Narayana surrounded by the 7 sages who are austerity personified. So we take darshan of the deities, then we get out of the main sanctum, and there's beautiful Sitaram Lakshman, very beautiful deity. So Vibhishana, when he was traveling back to Lanka, from the main Srirangam temple, you all must be knowing about Srirangam temple. So when Vibhishana was traveling back, he saw this beautiful ponds and everything. Then he came and took bath, and he sat down on the shade of the trees. And suddenly the memories and pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, his relationship with Lord Ramachandra, the way Lord Ram blessed Vibhishana, Vibhishana started remembering all these pastimes, and he was feeling deep viraha, deep separation. And he was crying, and he was chanting Ram's name, rolling on the ground. Then Narayana saw his viraha, his separation, and immediately he appeared as Lord Ramachandra. So this beautiful deity of Lord Ramachandra was appeared in front of Vibhishana. So Vibhishana stayed in this place for many, many days, and he worshipped Lord Ramachandra again and again and again. So this is a beautiful temple of Lord Ramachandra also in that place. Then another beautiful pastime connected to this temple is about Kulashekara Alvar. There are 12 Alvars in Sri Sampradaya. 12 Alvars, and all the Alvars are ornaments of the Lord, Bhushana. So one Alvar is the sword, another is a conch, another is Gadha, So Kulashekara Alvar, one among the 12 Alvars, was the ruler of Trivandrum, a beautiful city in Kerala. He was the king there, and amazing pastimes. So one day, his ministers told him, you are no longer interested in worldly things. You are not taking care of the kingdom properly. You are not very attentive. We are so scared that if you run the kingdom like this, enemies will attack. Then Kulashekara Alvar was so moved, and he spoke a beautiful verse. This verse is recorded in Mukunda Mala Stotra, and in ISKCON we have this book, Mukunda Mala Stotra. Very beautiful shloka. Lokasya vyasana apanodana karo dasasya kim nakshamaha. So Kulashekara Alvar is asking his ministers, Lokasya Vyasana Apanodana Karo. If the Lord can maintain the 14 planetary systems, if Lord can beautifully maintain this world, the creation, Dasasya Kim Nakshamaha. Will there be a trouble for him to maintain a servant like me? Why are you so scared? Lord is wonderfully maintaining the planetary systems, the creation, the cosmos, everything. Will he not maintain me? Dasasya kim nakshama. What is the trouble in maintaining me? But the ministers were not convinced. So immediately Kulashekara Alvar gave away his kingdom to the ministers and he renounced the world. Tyaga, Nyasa. He gave away the world. He gave up and he went to Srirangam. So on the way, he came to this beautiful place. By the time this temple is gone under the earth, temple has become ruins. People doesn't know where this temple is. They forgot. Like we all know about, in Vrindavan also, Goswamis recovered Vrindavan, many holy places over a period of time. Sakalani Hamahata, by the influence of time, things disappear from vision. So this holy place, this beautiful temple also disappeared. So when Kulashekara Maharaja was traveling on his horse, it was very tired, very tired. So he saw this beautiful lotus ponds and he saw this beautiful Tamraparni river flowing. Wonderful river, Tamraparni is also called Tamraparni Ganga. Tamraparni is the lotus garland which Narayana wears in Vaikumtem. The lotus garland appeared in this material world and took a river form, and that is the glorious Tamraparni river in South Tamil Nadu. So the king saw the beautiful rivers and the lotus ponds. So he got down, took a bath, and he freshened himself up and he turned back and the horse is missing. So he went in search of the horse. He thought the horse must be grazing somewhere close by, but the horse was missing. So he was searching and going around this place, and he saw in a particular place the horse was grazing. So Maharaja Kulashekara went to that particular spot and he felt a very deep ecstasy, some kind of bliss in his heart. That place was spiritually surcharged. So he realized this is not a normal place. This place has got a very high spiritual value. Then he discovered this temple, Tirupati Saaram temple, got lost in that place. So the present temple, what we see now, is a temple renovated, reconstructed by Maharaja Kulashekara. So he made a beautiful temple there and a huge pond filled with water 12 months a year, 365 days. And sometimes the pond overflows and there is water on the street. Such a fertile place. So we are in Tirupati Saaram temple. Once again, we take darshan of Narayana surrounded by the 7 sages and the beautiful Sitaram temple, and remember the pastimes of Kulashekara Maharaja constructing the temple. Then one very special jewel, crest jewel of Alvars. The sage is called Nammalvar, very popular among the 12, very prominent among the 12 Alvars, and Nammalvar compiled the Sri Vaishnava scriptures called Nalayira Divya Prabandham, 4,000 poems, So he compiled it, Nammalvar, a very special sage. This Alvar took birth in this place. Then he was moved to another town called Alvar Tirunagari, which is like 50-60 kilometers from this place. It's a little difficult to, follow the names and all, but it's very sweet. So the parents of Nammalvar, they came here, they heard the past times, and they sat down in this place and they were like meditating and praying to Krishna for days and days together, begging Krishna to bless them with a wonderful devotee son. They wanted devotee son, and they were sincerely praying at the lotus feet of Krishna. And the Lord blessed them that you will have my own ornament as your son. And that is how Nammalvar took birth. And then they moved in Nammalvar. There are many, many pastimes about Nammalvar, which we'll be explaining, throughout. So from this temple, then we move another 40 kilometers to the next temple. It is called Tirukkurungudi, very beautiful place. All these temples are the downhill of Vindhya Parvat, the Western Ghats. So one side it is mountains, and on the other side it's full of lotus ponds and paddy field. Very beautiful drive. So from Tirupati Saaram, then we move to the next temple, Tirukkurungudi. So now we go to Tirukkurungudi, a beautiful temple. Okay, this whole place is called Tirukkurungudi, and there are 5 temples, and they are all called Nambi Kovil. Nambi means student. Nindra Nambi, Irunda Nambi, like that they say. It means standing temple, seated temple. That's how the names are. There are 5 temples in a radius of 2 kilometers. But all the 5 temples put together is one Divya Desham, one holy place. Five temples, and out of the 5, 2, 3 are big temples, very big temples. But different tiny pastimes, and it's all connected. Again, so beautiful. On the downhill of mountain, and you can see the lotus ponds on the other side. Beautiful villages, right? So we go to this place, Tirukkurungudi, and the deity is called Nambi. Nambi means student, student. So amazing. And this, the history and the pastimes and the Mahatmya glories of this temple are explained in Varaha Purana. And in Varaha Purana, there is a very sweet portion. It is called Kaishika Purana. Inside Varaha Purana, like we have Bhagavad Gita in Mahabharata, in the same way, there is something called Kaishika Purana in Varaha Purana. And this Kaishika Purana is speaking so much about Krishna, Narayana, the beauty of the Lord, the merciful nature of the Lord, how Lord is composed to his devotees, how he is related to his devotees, and how devotional service is the topmost activity in this world. Very beautiful portion called Kaishika in Varaha Purana. So these devotees, like we chant Bhagavad Gita shlokas, Bhagavatam shlokas, and many shlokas. So these devotees also keep chanting and nourishing this Kaishika part of Varaha Purana. And when they chant and read, they go into ecstasy, they jump and dance, and they enjoy. And this pastime speaks about the glories of scriptures, how these scriptures about Krishna are so important. Then there was a devotee, but he's from Shudra family. In those days, Shudras are not allowed inside the temple, even though that is not right, but that was a practice all over India. Many wonderful temples, the Shudras were like not allowed inside. They were called forbidden people, outcast, all sorts of things. So this person's a wonderful devotee, amazing devotee. When he starts chanting this shlokas of Kaishika Purana, then he goes into trance. started crying, he started smiling, screaming, rolling on the ground, jumping and dancing, feeling so humbled in front of the magnanimous glories of Krishna. So this devotee, one day after having darshan and all these things, he was crossing a jungle and with his arms raised and chanting and happily singing and crying, and he was crossing the jungle. Then all of a sudden a demon appeared, and the demon said, I have to eat one human every day. That's my food, and today you are my meal. I'm going to attack you. I'm going to kill you. And this wonderful devotee said, I would be happy to be of some use to you. It's very deep realization, and wonderful to be a selfless in that state, to that stage. So the devotee was thinking, anyway, my body is not much use for me. Anyway, I'm using my body for material things, worldly things. At least let this body be useful to this man-eater. Let him be satisfied so that he won't attack others for this day. So in this way, I can save so many people. So he was selfless to that extent. He agreed to the deal. He said, yes, fine, you can eat me. But give me one chance. I want to have darshan of Krishna and come back. Then the demon said, how can I trust you? You will run away. Then the devotee said, you should always trust the devotees of Krishna because they will never go back in their word. Then somehow the demon was convinced, and this devotee was left. So the devotee went to the temple and very, very ardently, very, very sincerely, he started praying. But he was not allowed inside the temple because he is from a Shudra family. So he was crying, maybe this is my last visit. I will not be able to see you again because today the demon is going to eat me. Lord, I want to have a heartfelt darshan, wholehearted. I want to drink your beauty. Till these days, I was not allowed inside the temple. That didn't bother me much. But today, I'm sure because I'm not going to come back again. So I want to have a wonderful darshan. I want to drink your beauty. But this Garuda Stamba, the flag post, Garuda post, it's right in front and blocking the darshan. And he was crying and praying. And miraculously, the Garuda Stamba flag post moved a bit to the side. Then he had a wonderful darshan. Even today, you go to this temple, Nambikoil, Tirukurungudi, you can see the flag post is little away. It is not directly in front of the temple, it's on the side, towards the side. Then having darshan, having offering prayers, the devotee went back to jungle. He wanted to serve the demon by being his meal. And the devotee was like going back. Then Krishna came in the form of a Brahmana and said, what are you doing? Don't go by this jungle. There is a cruel man-eater living in this jungle and he eats everyone who passes by. Please don't go. Krishna came in the form of a Brahmana and advised this devotee. And the devotee started laughing and said, of course I know. I'm going there to be his food because I have promised him. Then the Brahmana said, what kind of a stupid are you? Don't worry about the promises to demons. Don't worry. If you can speak lies to save your own life, there is nothing wrong in speaking lies to save your life. Don't worry about the promise to a demon. He's not a human. But then he said, no, I am Krishna devotee. Whatever it is, whatever justification you give me, I will not go back in my word. Then the devotee started moving, going inside the jungle. And Krishna was so happy with this devotee. Then he went to the demon. And the demon was like sleeping and snoring. And he woke up the demon and said, I have come. Please eat me. Then the demon said, I don't know what happened. Today I don't feel like eating. I'm full. I'm full. I'm not having hunger at all. I don't know. Who are you? Maybe I wanted to eat you and the gods have cursed me. I'm not feeling any hunger. Then the devotees realized the glories of Krishna. And again, he started chanting that Kaishika Puran and jumping and dancing and all. Then the demon said, I can realize that you have got something powerful. What is that? Then he spoke about this Kaishik Purana, and the demon heard Kaishik Purana, and the demon was relieved from the sinful life. So, this whole temple speaks about the glories of scriptures by constantly chanting, reading the scriptures, applying those principles in our life, and delivering our whole existence. So it's a beautiful temple, and this story of this Shudra devotee getting saved from the demon, this story was spoken by Lord Varaha to Lakshmi Devi in Varaha Purana. So Varaha Purana speaks about this Tirukurungudi Nambi temple, So Varahadev personally is speaking to Lakshmi Devi and saying the glories of this temple. And this is how this devotee was saved from demon. So beautiful. And as I told, another Leela of this temple is, as I told you, all these temples are connected to the Alvars of Sri Sampradaya. And that famous Alvar, Tirumangai Alvar, who built the mammoth, gigantic, gorgeous Sri Rangam temple, Trichy, Sri Ranganath temple. The temple was built by Tirumangai Alvar. He was a small-time king, tax collector, and he built that massive temple. So after that, towards his old age, he came here to this village, Tirukurungudi, and he was serving Narayana till the last breath of his life. So this is the holy place where Tirumangai Alvar, the great sage among 12 Alvars, left his body. So in this temple, we also remember Tirumangai Alvar. Then comes a very sweet, unique pastime. Once Ramanujacharya came here, with the thousands of his students and followers and disciples, thousands of them. Then he was having his sermon, his talk and spiritual gathering, satsanga, in this temple, Ramanujacharya with thousands of his devotees. Then, after everything, towards the sunset, when Ramanujacharya was alone, the deity of this temple, he came and asked Ramanujacharya, Hey Acharya, I spoke Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years back in Kurukshetra battlefield. I have tried spreading this spiritual knowledge to people, Raja Vidya. I have tried by all means, but I could not influence people. How come you are easily preaching to thousands and thousands of people? And they're all becoming devotees, chanting my name, dedicating their life. What is the secret? How are you doing this? I don't know. I failed, but how are you doing this? So when Lord asked this question, Ramanujacharya also smilingly, he said, my dear Lord, it is a secret. I will not reveal that to you. I will disclose this only to my students, So when Krishna jokingly asked something to Ramanujacharya, Ramanujacharya also jokingly said something, I will not reveal that secret. I will reveal it only to my students. And the next day, a brilliant looking Brahmin boy, glowing, Tejasvi, as brilliant as sun, at the same time humble to the core, polite, a sweet boy came and requested Ramanujacharya, Acharya, please accept me as your disciple. The moment Ramanujacharya saw this boy, his heart moved and he accepted him as disciple. The deity of the temple came in the form of a boy and joined. That is why the deity is called Nambi, student. You know, so he came and joined. And everyone started liking this boy, so polite, serving all the senior devotees, disciples of his guru, serving the guru, cooking for him, washing his clothes, And in those days, these acharyas and all the sannyasis, they had huge wooden boxes. And in that wooden boxes, they will have all puja paraphernalias, puja utensils and books So the devotees and the disciples used to carry their guru's boxes and travel from one place to another. And in Sri Sampradaya, they don't wear upper garments. And the students, they always bow down and they walk, right, always like a shadow behind the teacher. That is how their characters were, that the lifestyle was. So this new boy who came and joined, Krishna himself as a student, carrying Guru's wooden boxes, cooking for him, washing his clothes. And Ramanujacharya also started liking this boy so much. So that is why the deity has got this name, Nambi, student. And not only that, from here, Ramanujacharya traveled, 100 miles to different places for preaching and visiting holy places and all. And this boy followed Ramanujacharya like a student carrying the box, walking 100 miles carrying the wooden box. Krishna himself served the great Acharya, Ramanujacharya. Right? Then from here, they moved to, different temples. And finally, they came to the majestic Ananta Padmanabh temple in Trivandrum. Ananta Padmanabhji temple in Trivandrum. And all the way the boy is also following, Krishna is also following. So in Ananta Padmanabhji temple, there is no Garuda in the main sanctum. In all Sri Vaishnava temples, they will have Garuda right in front of the deity. So in Ananta Padmanabhji temple, there is no Garuda. Because when Ramanujacharya came, he saw the way of worship was slightly different in Ananta Padmanabh Mandir. The Brahmanas are little different from normal Brahmanas. All the Brahmanas will have shika on the back, and these Brahmanas will have shika on the front. They tie their shika and that's in the front. And, little royal, and some of them were little, puffed up, you can say, like, with pride. So Ramanujacharya thought, this is not the way to worship Krishna. The ornament, the offering for Krishna is humility. But these people are so proud, and like that. So similar pastime happened in Jagannath Puri also. So Ramanujacharya thought, like, let me change the system, and there should be humility, there should be Vaishnava method. So overnight, Ananta Padmanabhji told Garuda, take Acharya from this place, lift him and drop him back to, his own place. So next day morning, Ramanujacharya woke up and he found he's not there. He is not there in Trivandrum Ananta Padmanabh temple. He was in Tirupati. He was transferred overnight, but he did not realize. He did not realize. Then he was calling for his disciple, another student. Give me water, I'm feeling thirsty. Give me water, give me water. But his disciple are there in Trivandrum. He was alone overnight, in the temple to Trivandrum. But he didn't realize, Ramanujacharya didn't realize. He was calling for his student. No student there. So the deity of Tirupati again took the form, Nambi, student form, and came and gave water to Ramanujacharya. Right? So there are related 2, 3 pastimes. So when one day Ramanujacharya was like going to take darshan of Tirukurungudi deity, this humble boy who was always serving Ramanujacharya, following like a shadow, giving water, cooking food, giving tilaka to apply. And that particular day, this boy ran ahead of Ramanujacharya. That is considered to be an offense, walking in front of Guru, overtaking Guru in Sri Sampradaya and in traditional system, that is considered to be an offense. So the disciples will always walk behind their spiritual masters like shadow, carrying the things and all. They don't walk ahead of Guru. So, but this particular day, the boy started running. He was running in front of Guru. And Ramanujacharya was wondering what happened to him today. He was so humble. Why is he overtaking me and running? And Ramanujacharya called, Nambi, Nambi, oh my dear student, why are you running? And the boy said, no, spiritual master, Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, I have one seva left out, so I'm running. Actually, what happened, the altar is empty. This boy, Krishna came in the form of a boy and serving his guru and washing, so the altar is empty. And Ramanujacharya is going to take darshan. So the boy ran and got inside the altar and again stood there. Very beautiful pastime. The glories of Ramanujacharya we can understand. How Krishna himself wanted to be the student of Acharya, Raman. So we are all blessed to have Srila Prabhupada and his students and followers to bless us. We are greatly blessed to have an Acharya. We are blessed to have spiritual masters, spiritual mentors. It's a great blessings. So all these wonderful pastimes happened in Tirukurungudi temple. There are, as I told you, there are 5 different temples, all in a particular place, in a radius of 1.5 to 2 kilometers. So these temples are called Nambi Koil. Nambi means student. So the glories of this temple is mentioned in Varaha Purana. Lord Varaha himself speaking to Lakshmi Devi about the glories of this temple. So again in Tirunelveli, we will go to another important Divya Desham called Malai. Very beautiful name. Malai. It's a poetic word. Malai. Means the mountains kissing the sky. Malai. Very beautiful place. So there is another Divya Desham, a beautiful temple. And this temple is dedicated to sin atonement. Knowingly or unknowingly, if we have committed some kind of sinful activities, this is the right place to deliver all our sins. A very, very meaningful pastime in this place, and which we can also relate to. A king, he waged a war against another king. And in the battlefield, somehow this king was defeated. So he was running to save his life. He got inside the jungle and he fled, and he was trying to save his own life, and the enemies were behind him. He lost the track, the pain of losing the war and the pain of saving his life, feeling that he is running away from the battlefield. The king ran inside the jungle. Whole day was running, trying to save himself. And he became very tired by sunset. Very tired. All his energy drained. Then he was looking for some food. There was nobody around, and he saw one tiny hut there. So he ran to the hut, looking for some water, some food and things like that. To his surprise, there was no one in that hut, but a beautiful meal was arranged and kept. Nice, delicious meal, water. So the king didn't had a second thought. He ran inside the hut and he ate off the whole meal. Then after some time, a sage came. the sage has prepared this meal for offering to Narayana, Vishnu. That was bhoga, which was kept for offering. So the sage became furious. He found out this king has taken the meal. He has taken the food, which is supposed to be offered to Krishna. And sage became very furious. How can you offer something? How can you take off something which is kept for offering? Are you not cultured? You are a king. You don't know what is right and wrong. Can't you tolerate your hunger for some time? The sage became very upset, furious, raged with anger, and cursed the king to be a dog. You are low class. Your behavior doesn't fit for a king. So I curse you to be a dog. Then the king begged, pleaded, rolled on the ground with tears, literally bathed the foot of sage with his own tears and said, please forgive me. I was so hungry, so I didn't think much. Please, please, please forgive me. And he narrated the whole event, that how he was defeated in the war and he was so ashamed and he was running for life. Whole day he was trying to save himself. And finally, the sage felt a little sympathy on the king and said, okay, you should go to this particular temple. And there is beautiful pond filled with lotus flowers. Just by taking dip in that pond in front of Malai temple, in that place, that particular pond, all your sins which you have committed for 1,000 janmas knowingly and unknowingly will be washed off. And the sage declared this and disappeared. And immediately the king turned to be a dog, And some hunter caught this dog using for hunting. And they were like nomads traveling from one jungle to another, one village to another, hunting, So finally, the hunter came to this particular village. The beautiful place, mountains and valleys and rivers and pond. So the hunter was very tired. He got inside this lotus pond and took a bath. And he was feeling fresh. So the dog also jumped inside the pond. The moment the dog touched the waters of the lotus pond, immediately he got relieved from his sins and he attained liberation. So there's a beautiful temple, Malai, where the deity is there to remove the sins of people which is committed knowingly and unknowingly. Another day, Urvashi, the Apsara, the heavenly nymph or Apsara from heaven, Swarga, she was feeling so proud about her own beauty, how the kings are falling for her, getting attracted, how the prince and, even the devas are getting attracted, sages are getting attracted to her. So she was feeling so proud about her beauty. Then she discussed with Brihaspati, Devaguru, and she asked, is there any way by which I can hold my beauty forever? I will be the same forever and I will never become old. So Brihaspati said, that is impossible, Urvashi, that nothing can happen like that. But she was adamant, no, there must be some way to hold my beauty. Then the sage Brihaspati said, okay, I don't know, maybe you can, do penance towards Krishna, Narayana, and Narayana can give you the answer. So she did a severe tapasya to please Narayana, and Narayana appeared. And Narayana asked, what do you want? And she said, I want to be youthful forever. I want to be the same forever. People should get attracted to me forever. So Lord said, okay, fine. You go to this particular temple, Malai temple, and you start fanning the Lord. That is your seva. You start fanning the Lord and you fan the Lord every day and you will get what you want. So Urvashi came to this temple and she started fanning the deity, you know. So that is the time. It's a very beautiful pastime. She saw many, many sages and devotees. They are coming and praying to Narayana and they're getting blessings. And she's found all the sages are not asking anything material. They come and ask for spiritual knowledge. They come and ask for devotional service. They come and ask for supreme gyan. They're not asking anything about beauty. So one day she asked Narayana, I am fanning you for long. And I'm seeing so many great, wonderful personalities come here and pray. None of them has asked for good health. None of them asked for long life. Why is it so? Then Narayana said, these are all temporary. Everything has got a beginning and end in this world. Definitely, whatever has created in this world has got an end. It is impossible to have something permanent in this world. And Urvashi realized, and she begged the Lord, please grant me something permanent. And Lord granted devotional service to Urvashi in this particular temple. Then there is one more beautiful pastime in this temple connected to Bhagavatam. Kashyapa Muni, sage Kashyapa had many wives. Out of them, two wives are Vinita and Kadru. Vinita and Kadru. And both of them, wanted children. So they also came to this temple and they did severe penance to Vanama Narayana, Krishna, asked for baby. So Kadru had hundreds and hundreds of children and Vinita had only two. Kadru's children were all snakes and Vinita's children were Aruna and Garuda. Two. One had Garuda, another had snakes as children. But from the beginning, both of them having some kind of rivalry between them. Both the wives, Vinita and Kadru, they had some kind of rivalry. They all wanted to be, who is great, who is the topmost one, who is more powerful, who has better children. They had this competition. Devotees should never have competition. Once I heard a Maharaja's lecture. In that, the Maharaj said, devotees are like having a running race. So the devotee should work very hard, put all his best effort to win the race. Suppose devotees are having a running race. He should put his best effort to win the race. But he should come last in the line. How is that possible? He should put his best effort to win the race, the best effort, but he should come last in the race, That is how dealing with Vaishnavas. So Vinita and Kadru, they always had this enmity. And somehow both of them came and prayed, both want to have children and things. And Lord Narayana said, okay, I will bless you with children. But you should donate one for me back. I will give you children, but you should give one to me. To Vinita also, Lord said, same thing, and to Kadru also. So Kadru donated one of her son to Krishna, Narayana, and that is Ananta. She had so many children and there were snakes. So she donated one snake, Ananta. And Vinita donated one son, Garuda. So what happened? They also had enmity. It's a question we might ask, how devotees can have enmity. But somehow Ananta and Garuda, they had a severe rivalry. When Garuda comes, Ananta will not come. When Ananta comes, Garuda will move from that place. They had a severe rivalry. So they were also praying. And both of them had a single prayer that I should never leave your company. I should always be there with you. So Ananta got the position of bed and Garuda got the position of carrier, and they're all the time there, And Narayana personally guided them. and told them, blessed them to get out of rivalry. Because devotees, if they have rivalry, they will never progress in Krishna consciousness. Unknowingly, all the wonderful qualities they had will be diluted and drained. So, this is a beautiful temple where Krishna personally instructed Ananta and Garuda to give up rivalry and jointly serve. So, this is one temple where you can see Garuda standing next to Ananta with a bowed head, and Lord is lying down on Ananta, and both of them are in very good terms. You know, and there is another significant thing in this temple. There is a oil well, a small well, oil well. So every day after doing Abhisheka to the deity, the balance oil and whatever prasad is collected and poured inside this well. You know, for ages, the oil was poured inside the well and it has all become solid, right? So people take that as prasad, and people believe, the localites, the villagers, and even people from very far and wide, they come here and take this as prasad and go and they apply, and all physical ailments gets cured off. So this is a sweet pastime. So now we are in Vanama Malai temple, and we remember those pastimes, how the king got dog's body and got relieved from the sin, and how Urvashi understood about devotional service, how Garuda and Ananta became friends and started serving Narayana, all these pastimes from the temple. Now we are traveling in Tirunelveli district of Tamil Nadu. As I already mentioned, this is a very special holy place, and Lord Shiva is the presiding deity of this place. Lord Shiva has got a very beautiful temple in the middle of the town. The deity is called Nellayappar, means one who protects grain. And this district is called Tirunelveli, means fence for the grains. So beautiful. This district has got so many beautiful Vaishnava temples, and all majestic royal stone temples with big towers, gopuram, which you can even see from like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer away. As you reach each and every temple, you can see this majestic looking towers, the beautiful South Indian gopurams. So now we are going to the 9 prominent temples. They are called Nava Tirupati, and it is also, connected in Karma Kandi way. Like so many astrologers and people, when people come to them, approach them saying that they have this problem, that problem, health problem, then many astrologers recommend these people to go to these 9 temples. And each deity is the presiding deity or the master of a particular planet. For example, one temple called Srivai Kuntam, and that Vishnu there is master of Surya, sun. And if you go to another temple, the deity is master of Jupiter. So even in a karma kandi way, or in what you call a religious way, astrologers recommend people to go to these 9 temples. So these 9 temples are connected to Navagrahas, 9 planets. So these 9 temples are called Nava Tirupati, 9 Tirupatis. And if anybody goes take darshan of all these things, they believe the particular dosha of the planet will be relieved, Nava Tirupati, Navagraha. So each deity is connected to one planet, Surya, the moon planet, Jupiter, and Neptune, Saturn, and all those things. and very beautiful. These temples are also connected to many, many pastimes. How different people have come over here and got relieved of their sins. Sins because of eating meat, sins because of killing some people, sin out of killing a guru or holy person, sin out of having an illicit relationship. Even devas, they have come to this place and got relieved of different kinds of sins. Indra, Varuna, so many deities. They all have come to these holy places, worshipped Narayana, and got relieved of the sin. So these temples are very special, Nava Tirupati. And out of the 9 temples, 2 temples are even more prominent. The first one, Srivai Kuntam. That's the name of the temple. And another one is Alvar Tirunagari, the birthplace or the appearance place of Sri Nammalvar. Very important. So these 2 temples are very powerful. And Sri Ramanujacharya traveled and took darshan of all these 9 temples. And many Alvars had traveled to these 9 temples and sung songs in the praise of the deities and the village. So many things. So let us start our tour. So first we go to Sri Vaikumtem temple. And as I told you, each temple has got a story, how somebody has got relieved of their sin. So the Sri Vaikumtem temple is something like very important. As I told you, 2 important temples. One is Sri Vaikumtem and another is Alvar Tirunagari, the holy place of Nammalvar. So these 2 temples are very important, and both the temples are on the bank of river Tamraparani. Sri Vaikumtem is on the left bank and Alvar Tirunagari is on the right bank. So even when you come closer to the temple, at least 2 kilometers away from the temple, you can see these majestic towers, on the bank of river. As you get closer, you will see the details of the tower. Very beautiful temple and amazing pastimes, And as I told you earlier, you can see lotus ponds everywhere, hundreds of lotus ponds. So first we going to take darshan in Sri Vaikumtem temple, a very beautiful, gorgeous, big temple. And that too, if you are going on a festival day where Lord is carried on a palanquin going around the temple and the people, they play a lot of music and sing songs written by Alvars, and women with the plates and lamps, they light over, they shower flower petals. Very beautiful, royal, elegant, majestic festivals you can witness in this temple. So Sri Vaikumtem temple, very beautiful pastime. The deity is called Kallapiran, which means the Lord of Thieves, or we can say Master of Thieves, or something like that. This particular temple was installed by Brahmaji. Brahma wanted to find a best place to conduct yajna, loka kalyanartham, for the benefit of all the 14 planetary systems. He wanted to conduct a yajna. So he sent 2 of his paraphernalias. One is his sannyas danda, or you can not sannyas danda, that yoga danda. Brahma has a stick in his hand, the stick which they will hold their hand like this and do tapas or something like that. Yoga danda. And he had his kamandalu. So he sent his yoga danda and kamandalu to earth to find out a beautiful place for yajna. So yoga danda was given a brahmachari form, and kamandalu was given a mataji form, lady form. And both of them traveled the length and breadth of this planet to find out the best place for Brahma to conduct a yajna, perform sacrifice, tapas. So the yoga danda, the yoga stick of Brahma, took a brahmachari form and traveled all over, and he fell in love with a girl and forgot his mission. Whereas the Kamandalu, who took a lady form, she located this place. As she came closer to this place, she found some amazing things happening. A place where a fisherman was fishing from the Tamaraparni river, and he was putting all the fish, he's fishing. And at the time, a snake crawled and came and took the fish. So this fisherman, got angry, and he was trying to beat the snake, and snake got angry and bit him. So in that accident, in that pull and push, the snake died, fish is already dead, and the fisherman also died. All three of them died. Snake came to steal the fish, and the fisherman saw the snake coming and stealing the fish. So he took a stick and started trying to beat the snake. By the time snake bit the man, all three died. Snake died, the fish died, and the fisherman also died. But when this lady came there, she saw this incident, and within moments, all the three of them got Vaikuntavasi form, four-handed form like Vishnu. And all the three, the snake, fish, and the fisherman, going back to Vaikunta. Then she saw this place must be very powerful, very spiritual. So this is the place Brahma should perform yajna. So as I told in the beginning, these temples are very powerful. They can wash away all our mistakes. Like papa, kritam papam, whatever sins we have done can be washed out. So Kamandalu the lady decide, let this be the place where Brahma can come and perform sacrifice. And by the time the yoga danda, the brahmachari also realized what a mistake I have done. I came in seva of Brahmaji, and finally I got married, and also he also came, did perform the penance and got relieved from his mistakes. So Brahmaji came and performed the sacrifice. So when Brahmaji performed the sacrifice, his sacrifice was so pleasing. Lord Vishnu with his whole entourage, Bhumi Devi, Lakshmi Devi, and all his Parshadas, servants, maids, and all of them. Literally the whole Vaikunta appeared in this place on the bank of river Tamraparni. So that's why this place is called Sri Vaikuntam. Vaikunta itself appeared here, because of Brahmaji's sacrifice. Very beautiful, majestic temple. And there, the deity is called Kallapiran, means Lord of Thieves, Master of Thieves, like we call Navanita Chora, Makana Chora, thief. So here Krishna is called Kallapiran, the Master of Thieves. Krishna steals devotees' heart and things like that. But here, the deity got this name. And at a very, very special pastime, there was a thief actually. And he was a great devotee of Krishna. And every day he will come to temple and he will pray to Krishna, Krishna, I'm going to steal in house number 14. Please protect me. And next day he will say, I'm going to steal from house number 15, please protect me. So every day he was coming to temple and praying to Krishna and saying, please protect me, protect me. And the king couldn't catch the thief because the thief was protected by Krishna. And he's a very good thief. Evening he will come back, or next day he will come back. He has got all the theft items. 50% he will donate it to the temple. He was in partnership with Krishna. So whatever he steals, 50% he will drop in the donation box. He will give it to Krishna. And the king was getting worried. People are losing faith from the governance of the king. King, they were losing faith in king's administration. There is a thief who is very skillfully stealing everything from the village, and the king couldn't stop him or arrest him. What kind of management, what kind of a government is this? And the people were losing faith on the king, and the king was very disturbed. And the king came to the temple. He came to the temple and said, Krishna, please get this thief caught. I bless me so that we can arrest this thief. Because of this thief, so much of problem in the country. And in the night, the thief will come and pray, Krishna, protect me. I'm going to steal from house number 8. In the daytime, the king will be praying, and in the night, the thief will be praying. And Krishna is in trouble. On whose side he will be? The king's side or the thief's side? An amazing pastime. And finally, one day, Krishna assumed the form of thief, and he went himself and got caught from the hands of king. And the king got very angry. Finally, I caught you, and caught the thief and tied him to the pillar of the temple. And he said, 1,000 lashes, the whip should be given, 1,000 beatings should be given to him. And the original thief is roaming somewhere else. And he heard the king caught thief. And the thief was thinking, I am roaming somewhere, and how could the king catch me? Actually, Krishna assumed the form of the thief and went and got himself caught. And punishment started. People were beating Krishna with the whip. And the real thief thought, okay, they caught the thief. Who's that? Let me go and see what's happening. So he also came to the temple. And the whole village had assembled. And they all saw that Krishna is getting beaten up. But they don't know it's Krishna. He is Krishna. And the thief was wondering, who is this person getting beaten up for me? So the thief came a little more closer, but then he realized it is Krishna, because he was talking to Krishna every day. So he had tears in his eyes, his body was trembling, his voice was shivering. And he begged forgiveness and said, Lord, why did you do this? And he ran to the king and said, no, that is not the thief. I am the real thief. Please, arrest me, leave that person. And the person in the pillar is saying, no, I am the real thief, leave him. And king was in utter confusion. Today, 2 people are claiming to be the thief. All of a sudden, I don't know from where, nowhere they both appear. Then Krishna asked, what is happening actually? The king asked. Then Krishna revealed, I am Krishna, and that person is the real thief. I am getting beatings on his behalf. The moment king heard this, he had tears in his eyes and he asked, why, Lord, why are you doing this? Why are you taking up the beatings on behalf of the thief? He is a sinner. Then Krishna smilingly asked, who is the real thief? He is stealing from you and you are stealing from me. Nothing actually belongs to you, right? Then the king realized. Then king gave half of his kingdom to the thief. And from that day, the deity was called Kallapuran, the master of thieves, right? And the primary deity in this temple is Swayambhu. One sage got this deity from the water tank, so they don't know who made this deity or what was the era. So Sri Vaikumtem temple is a very, very special temple. And the deity is also very beautiful. And the deity has got a dimple chin or something like that. The deity has got a small depression in the chin. The pujari, one day he was worshipping the deity. And the deity was so beautiful. He got captivated by the beauty of the deity. So he pinched the chin of Krishna, and that mark is there on the deity even today. So very special deity. So these temples are all meant for removing sins, all kinds of sinful things which people have performed, and they cave, and they get cleared of their sinful activities. Many stories like that, different pastimes. So Sri Vaikumtem is one prominent temple, you know. Then the next prominent temple which we are going to go is Alvar in Tirunagari, the place of Nammalvar, and there are other 7 temples, in between the track. And each temple is connected to different kinds of sinful activities. Let us see what are the pastimes in other temples. So now we will try to see the beautiful pastimes of all the other temples. So this is like if you aerially see these 9 temples, it is some kind of like a chakra. It will be, something like a form of 8. There are 2 circles joined together. Very beautifully, these temples are placed around Tamraparni river. From aerial, if you look, it look like shape 8, And some historians say that even the way the temples are arranged also got some importance. So one of these temples, very beautiful, very unique, is like there are 2 temples with like 100-meter difference, some important, on the bank of river Tamraparni. Though the pastime is so sweet, from Tamraparni river, the priest used to collect lotus flowers every day and bring those lotus flowers and offer it to Krishna, and the priest, the devotee, was offering those lotus flowers with so much of devotion. So he will pluck the lotus flowers from the pond, and on the way, when he's coming back, he will start meditating as though the lotus flower is in gold or golden flower, and it has got 1,000 petals, and there is honey dripping from the petals, and the bumblebees going around. So he used to add a lot of feeling, a lot of devotion to that small seva of offering lotus flowers. And that seva, the purity of that seva, the sincerity and the purity of consciousness behind that seva started attracting the Lord. The deity there is called Arvinda Lochana, lotus petaled eyes. So the deity was waiting for lotus flowers every day. Every day the deity was waiting for the lotus flowers. So, very anxiously that the pujari will come now, bring now. And one particular day, due to many reasons, he was a bit delayed. So the deity, Krishna, he actually walked out of the temple. And he came closer to the pond looking for his dear devotee to come with lotus flower. And the devotee, as usual, plucked the lotus flower, and so much of feeling and devotion. He turned back and walked, and he saw Krishna's already half the way. Then he was like, what happened? Then Krishna said, why you delayed so much today? I was waiting for these lotus flowers. So Krishna stood there, then immediately he offered the lotus flowers with the kirtan and with mantras and with feeling and devotion. So that's why there is 2 temples of the same deity. One is the place where originally, and the second one is deity walked towards the pond. It's amazing pastime. So when you go to that place, it's called twin temples. It's called Irattai Tirupati. Irattai means double or twin. Twin temples of the same deity. One deity has got 2 temples. I don't think these kind of pastimes are there anywhere else. One deity has got 2 temples, right? One is the original place. Another one is he came out to receive the lotus flower. What a beautiful, sweet relationship between devotee and Krishna, right? So very beautiful deity. Actually, literally the deity walked and came towards the pond. So the deity is like life-size, smiling, beautiful eyes, and every day they decorate him with the lotus flowers. So very beautiful pastime. So we pray there also. And as I told you, each temple is connected to some kind of sinful activity where sins can get cleared off. One place, Indra committed some mistakes. Indra was very close with his wife, Sati, and at that time, a sage by name Kaishika Muni, went there, but Indra could not pay proper respects. And Kaishika Muni became a little upset, and that fell on Indra as a sin. So he came to particular temple to relieve that sin. And another time, a very sinful demon, you know, who has done all kinds of nonsense in this world. You know, every sinful activities he has performed. So he went and took bath in the holy rivers, and the rivers could not purify his sin because the amount of sin he has done is too much. All the holy rivers got polluted. You know, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Kaveri, all the pious rivers got purified. So there is one particular temple where all the holy rivers appeared to clear their sins accumulated because of that demon. So they performed the penance and things like that, and those things, you know. So like this, each temple is connected to some kind of sinful activity. That's why maybe astrologers say that you go around these 9 temples and all your sins get cleared off or something like that, right? So these are all the 9 temples, and as all you know, each deity is the presiding deity of the planet. For sun, it is Sri Vaikumtem. For moon, it is some other deity. As in Brahma Samhita, we see Yachakshureva Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja. Sun and moon are the king of all planets, and Govinda is the master of sun. So finally Krishna is the master of all these planets. So people come here, and not only that, Sripad Ramanujacharya also had taken darshan in all these 9 temples, and he has performed sevas in all these 9 temples. Very important. So now, finally, we go to Alvar Tirunagari. That's very important. There are 2 important temples. One is Sri Vaikuntam, and another is Alvar Tirunagari, the birthplace of Nammalvar. So we go to Alvar Tirunagari, means it's a Tamil name. It means holy city of Alvar. You know, Tirunagari means holy city. Alvar Tirunagari, the holy city of Alvar. Nammalvar had taken birth. Very special, very beautiful. And in this temple, there are 2 shrines, 2 Sri Kovil, what you call Sanctum Sanctorium, 2 Puja room, whatever. So Krishna has a smaller one, and Alvar has got a bigger one. And the temple has got 2 gopurams. The main deity's gopuram is small, and Alvar's gopuram is bigger, you know, even bigger. Like right now in Mayapur, that's what we see. The present temple, you know, the big temple is coming up anyway. But the present, what do you say, Radha Madhava Ashtasaki Mandir, Panchatattva Mandir, all in Mayapur is small. And Prabhupada Pushpa Samadhi is like big. So very unique. Here, Alvar is given more priority and importance even than the main deity. Very beautiful. And the temple is connected to Ramayana. So the time's up. Dwapara Yuga is, Treta Yuga is getting over, and Dwapara is going to come up, and just few more days left. So Yamaraj came. Yamaraj came to Ayodhya. Ramayana says Ayodhya is such a wonderful place, Ram Rajya. Every house had a golden pitcher, a golden jug in front of their house. Any traveler, strangers, bypasses, they feel thirsty, they can take that golden jug and they can have water. If they like the picture, they can take the jug and walk away. So Ram Rajya was so rich. In Tamil, there is a Kambaramayana. There's a book called Kambaramayana. So in that it is written, elderly ladies used to dry grains in their courtyard. Paddy, rice, wheat, all the grains will be dried under the sun. Sometimes the birds will come and perk some grains, and sometimes dogs will come to lick. So these elderly ladies, they're a little lazy to get up and chase the dogs. So they will pull their earring, golden earring, and they will throw it on the dog. So you can understand how opulent Ramarajya was. So Treta Yuga is getting over and Dwapara Yuga is about to start, and Yamaraj came there to inform Lord Ram about this change, which means Lord Ram should wind up his pastimes. Treta Yuga is getting over. So when Yamaraj came, Lord Ramachandra called his brother Lakshman and said, Lakshmana, we are going to have some serious discussion. So don't allow whoever it may be, don't allow till we complete our discussion, our meeting. Then Lakshmana said, okay, and he stood by the gate. And Yamaraj went inside, bowed down to Lord Ramachandra with a lot of respects, glorified Lord Ramachandra and said, my Lord, Dwapara Yuga is going to come, Treta is going to get over, so you should wind up your pastimes, you should complete it. And serious meeting is going on. And Durvasa came, the great sage Durvasa. Durvasa Muni is very famous for short tempers, a short-tempered person. And finally, he will curse the dynasty, curse the clan, curse the entire family, citizens, Ayodhya. So Lakshmana was very scared. And he said, I want to meet Lord Ram. And Lakshmana didn't know what to do. If he says no to the king, no to sage Durvasa, Durvasa will become very upset and he may curse the entire Ayodhya. But if he allows Durvasa inside, that means Lakshmana is disobeying Ram, and that's also not good. But he did not know what to do. He allowed sage Durvasa inside. So Durvasa went there. Lord Ram very respectfully bowed Durvasa and served him, and the meeting was over, everything, and they all went back. But Lord Ramchandra asked Lakshmana, I told you not to allow anyone inside, not to let anyone inside. Why did you do so? Then Lakshmana said, I know, but if I deny Durvasa, Durvasa may get offended. He may curse the entire Ayodhya. But Lord Ram said, whatever it is, you have disobeyed. So I cast you, I sent you away from Ayodhya. You can never enter Ayodhya back. I don't want to see you at all. And that was a big pain to Lakshmana. He can't spend even one single day without being in company of Ram, with the association of Ram. So Lakshmana is feeling so bad, with tears in his eyes, and he had such a heavy heart. He left the city and walked straight into river Sarayu and never came back. By the time villagers got to know about this, Ayodhyavasis got to know about this, that Lakshmana disappeared in Sarayu. Even Ram got to know. So Lord Ramchandra felt a lot of pain. So he started walking towards Sarayu. When Lord Ram walked, Bharata, all the Ayodhya, the Brahmanas, women, children, even animals, they all followed Ram. And that day, the day which is marked in history, the whole of Ayodhyavasis walked inside Sarayu and disappeared. So after that, Lord Ramachandra told Lakshmana that pastime is over, the whole Ramalila is over. Then Lord Ramachandra told Lakshmana, I can't be away from you. I can't bear the separation. Now I am going to a particular place in South India and I will be Mauna for 16 years. I will be meditating, I will be in Mauna, I will be in silence for 16 years, but I don't want to be away from you, Lakshmana. So the Alvar Tirunagari is the place where Lord Ramachandra appears as Nammalvar. Sri Vaishnavas claim that Supreme Lord Ramachandra appeared as Nammalvar. And in that place, Lakshmana came and assumed the form of a tamarind tree, and he stood as a tamarind tree. Lakshmana became tamarind tree. So this baby boy, Nammalvar, appeared, who is none other than Supreme Lord Ramachandra. Nammalvar appeared, and amazingly, to everyone's surprise, the baby never cried, never smiled. The baby was in deep silence. He doesn't cry, he doesn't talk, he doesn't smile, he doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep. 16 years he was in silence. When he was a baby, he crawled out of the house, went to the tamarind tree, and there was a hole, big hole inside tamarind tree, and he crawled inside the hole and lived in that tamarind tree for 16 years. 16 years he lived there, and this tree stands even today. Even today, if we go to Alvar Tirunagari, we can see that, the whole thing is hollow, but still the tree, some new branches have come. And the tamarind is very sweet. Normally, tamarind is like, it has got its own different taste. But this tamarind, it's sour, not sour, it's sweet, very sweet tamarind. So Lord Ramachandra appeared as Nammalvar, and Lakshmana appeared as the tamarind tree. And Lord Ramachandra lived in the whole of, Nammalvar lived in the whole of the tamarind tree for 16 years. Another great saint called Madhura Kavi Alvar. Madhura Kavi, Madhura means sweet, Kavi means poet. Madhura Kavi, a sweet poet, another devotee. He also appeared and he traveled to North India. When he was traveling, he saw a special, brilliant, Tejasvi light, a brilliant Jyoti. And he followed the Jyoti and turned back, and the Jyoti is going towards south, and he followed and followed, and he found that light came and ended up in the tamarind tree. Then he got to know from the villagers that a boy sitting for 16 years, like Shukdev Goswami in the womb of his mother. 16 years, the boy is inside the tree, not talking to anyone, not interacting, not smiling, not crying, not eating. Then Madhura Kavi Alvar went to that person, surrendered, and he asked about soul. Initially, Nammalvar did not speak, but when Madhura Kavi Alvar's constant, persistent request, finally Nammalvar opened his mouth for a few seconds and spoke about the existence of soul and went back to Mauna. Very special Nammalvar, Lord Ramachandra. So all the 108 Divya Deshams appeared there. This is a very important thing there. 108 Divya Desham, Tirupati, Srirangam, Naimisharanya, Ayodhya, Mathura, Badrinath, Joshi Mat. All the 108 holy places appeared there. And sitting there, Nammalvar composed songs about all the 108 deities. And that is the famous book of Sri Vaishnavas called Nalaira Divya Prabandham. Nalaira Divya Prabandham, 4,000 holy shlokas. He sat down in Alvar Tirunagari and glorified all the deities because the deities came there. That's why in that temple, Nammalvar is given, even more importance than Krishna. So all the 188 temple deities, they all came there to that village, and Nammalvar started singing songs about the temple, about the deities, and that is composed as Nalaira Divya Prabandham. And he lived for 32 years. Nammalvar lived for 32 years. And there are many different names for Nammalvar. There are different kinds of names for Nammalvar. One is called Shatagopa, another is called Shatari, you know. So if you go to the South Indian temples, Sri Vaishnava temples, they have a silver tower kind of a thing, which has got Lord's feet on top of the tower. So when you go and bow down, immediately the priest will take that thing and keep it on our head to bless, Shatari. So the name is Nammalvar's name. Why? Because they say, like we say, Yasya prasadat Bhagavat prasado, Yasya aprasada nagati kutopi. The same thing. In Sri Vaishnavism, they say, if you don't get the mercy of Nammalvar, you will never get mercy of Krishna. So Nammalvar is considered to be a very prominent spiritual master in Sri Vaishnava line. And he lived for 32 years. Out of that 16 years, he was in Mauna. And the rest 16 years, he wrote so many spiritual books and all these things about the deities. So Alvar Tirunagari is a very, very important temple for Sri Vaishnavas and the most prominent temple of Nava Tirupati. The first is Srivai Kuntam, and the second is Alvar Tirunagari. So Nammalvar has got a very unique place in Sri Sampradaya. He gave the 4,000 shlokas and down the line. And Nammalvar also, even if you go to Sri Rangam, there is a beautiful pastime about Nammalvar. Every year, Ranganaji goes to the river Kaveri to perform his pastimes. He takes bath in river Kaveri and comes back home. So one day morning he is ready. One another important significant thing in the Sri Vaishnava temples are not like ISKCON temples, not like our temples. In our temples, Sitaram are together, Radha Krishna is together, Lakshmi Narayana is together. They're in the same altar. But in Sri Vaishnava temples, you see, Lakshmi will be in one temple, Narayana will be in another temple, entirely different campus, different temple. So once in a year during Vasanta Utsava, Lakshmi Devi comes and sits with Narayana for 10 days. That's the only time they are together, deities are together. Otherwise, they are all in both different temples. So a Vasanta festival, a Vasanta Utsava is going to come, and Lakshmi Devi is so happy waiting for these 10 days. Every year she's waiting for these 10 days because she can be with Krishna. So Lakshmi Devi was very happy, and the day has arrived, and they're all dressed up. The whole temple is decorated. Devotees from all over the world has come. Everything is ready for the big festival. But then Narayana said, many, many devotees have come all the way. So I'll just go to Kaveri, meet all the devotees and come back. But actually what the Lord did, he went to different other temples to meet the consort. So when he came back, Lakshmi Devi was very upset. She locked the door from inside. So even today on the festival day, they do this. Lord is carried on a palanquin. He goes to different temples and he comes back late night, and Lakshmi Devi locks the temple from the door, and Lord is standing outside and he's saying so many things. My dear, why don't you open the door? This, that. And Lakshmi Devi is angrily asking, where were you whole day? Then he said, devotees have come from far and wide. I was talking to them and I didn't realize that time has passed. I was talking and talking and talking. Narayana says this. Then Lakshmi Devi said, no, somebody saw you in that house, this house. Then Narayana said, no, it's all a wrong information somebody has given you. They're trying to cheat you. Don't believe them. I didn't go anywhere. Then Lakshmi Devi asked, where is your ring? Actually, Narayana forgot his ring in one of the consort's place. Then Narayana realizes that he misses his rings, and he said, I went to Kaveri and took bath, and maybe in the water it is gone, it disappeared. So Lakshmi says, no problem, you go back to Kaveri and bring it back. So again in the dead of the night, Lord goes back to Kaveri on the palanquin, devotees carry, and he takes two baths. He goes again and again takes the bath twice, second time. Goes inside the Kaveri and searches for the ring. Ring is not there. Actually, the ring is in another consort's house. Then Narayana comes back. Then he promises on fire, I'm not lying to you. Then Lakshmi Devi says, the Sudarshan Chakra, which is equal to 1,000 sun, He is rotating on your finger and you are not burnt. So if you promise on fire, I will never believe you. It's your cheating. Then so many promises Krishna makes and Lakshmi doesn't believe and Lakshmi doesn't allow Krishna inside. At that time, Nammalvar comes on a palanquin and he requests Lakshmi Devi, I came all the way just to see both of you sitting together. Looks like it is not going to happen. Devi, please bless me. Then Lakshmi Devi asks, she becomes very happy seeing Nammalvar. So Lakshmi Devi asks Nammalvar, will you vouch for Narayana? Can you vouch and say that he has not gone anywhere else and he is a very good husband? Then Nammalvar says, I don't know about that part, but I would like to see both of you together. And Lakshmi Devi agrees, allows Narayana inside, and both of them sit on Vasanta Mantapa and do a lot of festivals. So here you see, Nammalvar has given such a big role. He came and pacified Lakshmi Devi to meet Lord Narayana. Such a unique position is given to Nammalvar. That is why in Alvar Tirunelveli temple, the Alvar's Gopuram is even taller, bigger. Alvar has got all the importance. So very important temple. We can learn how to serve Vaishnava, senior devotees, gurus, GBZs and ISKCON, and how we can, because these devotees, pure devotees, the senior devotees, they have a unique position in Krishna's heart. So all those sweet pastimes we can learn from Nammalvar. So to sum up, the beautiful yatra in Nava Tirupati, starting from Sri Vaikumtem and ending in Alvar Tirunelveli and 7 temples in between. Each temple has got a story related to relieve sin from our life. And we pray again and again sincerely in this all the temples for giving darshan and blessings, and we travel forward. Hare Krishna.